My topic is political advertising in detail explained, and let's go to the topic and let's go to the start. Political advertising refers to the use of various media platforms such as television, radio, printed materials, social media, billboards, and many more to promote a political message, candidate or campaign. Political advertising aims to influence the public's opinion and persuade voters to choose a particular candidate or back a specific idea. Political advertising can take many forms, including attack ads, positive ads, and issue-based ads. Attack ads are usually negative adverts that highlight the drawbacks of one candidate while casting their opponent in a poor light. Positive ads, on the other hand, are upbeat adverts that aim to showcase the candidate's accomplishments and qualities. Issue-based ads address specific policy or social issues and how the candidate plans to tackle them. Political advertising has often been considered controversial, given its role in propagating half-truths, falsehoods, and negative campaigning. However, it remains a crucial part of modern political campaigning and serves as a tool for communication between candidates and voters. Political advertising means any information on political parties, political figures, social and political movements and associations, their political initiatives, ideas, undertakings, etc., including any information on their leaders and members intended for general audience, created with means and methods of the advertising genre, including election and referendum campaigns during preparation and holding elections to public authorities and state administration bodies of any level, or during announcement and holding of a referendum, as well as public opinion polls, informing voters during announcement and holding of an election or a referendum campaign. Political advertising means a type of agitation in the form of audiovisual productions using the advertising media and methods, disseminated during the period of elections into the bodies of government and or public administration at any level, as well as having the features of agitation for or against the matters put for referendum or during the conduct of the same, disseminated during the period in which a referendum is decided to be held and is carried out as set out in the applicable laws and regulations. In the context of this agreement, the political advertising is also deemed to include opinion polls during election campaigns, providing information to the electorate, advertising commercial activities of the political parties and candidates. Social advertising promotes public and national interests and charity objectives. The social advertising may not make references to any specific business entities or entrepreneurs, makes, models, articles, of their products, or makes, models, articles, of products resulting from the business activities of non-for-profit organizations. Political advertising means, subject to subsection 1.3, the transmission to the public by any means, at any time other than during an election advertising period, of an advertising message that promotes or opposes a registered party, the leader of a registered party, a member of the Legislative Assembly, a registered nomination contestant, a registered leadership contestant, or the election of a registered candidate, including an advertising message that takes a position on an issue with which a registered party, the leader of a registered party, a member of the Legislative Assembly, a registered nomination contestant, a registered leadership contestant, or a registered candidate is associated, and for greater certainty does not include. Political advertising, direct or indirect propaganda placed on the TV channels of subjects relating to elections, such as a political party, bloc, any person involved in political activities, political programs, views and opinions, or any information related to the aforementioned during the election campaign period established by Ukrainian law. Political advertising comprises the use of symbolism or logos of parties, blocs, or other participants of political activities, as well as information on support provided by any parties, blocs, or any other participants of election activities, of shows or any other public events, or drawing attention to participation in such events of parties, blocs, or any other subjects relating to election campaigns. Product placement, the placement of goods, services, by the TV company and the TV program/telecasts, films included, distributed on the TV channels air with or without indicating their manufacturers and names thereof. Political advertising is defined as advertising displays, newspaper ads, billboards, signs, brochures, articles, tabloids, flyers, letters, radio or TV presentations, or other means of mass communication, used for the purpose of appealing, directly or indirectly, for votes or for financial or other support or opposition in an election campaign. Mass communication as referenced above is a message intended to reach a large audience through any of the methods described above as well as periodicals, sample ballots, websites, emails, text messages, social media, and other online or electronic formats enabling the exchange of communication. Sending 100 or more identical or substantially similar letters, emails or text messages to specific recipients within a 30-day period is an example of mass communication. Political advertising does not include letters to the editor, news or feature articles, editorial comment or replies to editorials in a regularly published newspaper, periodical, or on a radio or television broadcast where payment for the printed space or broadcast time is not normally required. Most political advertising must include a message that explains who paid for it, sponsor identification. The law also dictates where and how the sponsor ID message is displayed. Campaigns and most other advertising sponsors must report to the PDC how much money was spent on advertising, which candidates or ballot measures benefited from the advertising and, in some cases, when the advertising was presented to the public. Develop a clear definition of political advertising. Defining political advertising is a complicated exercise, forcing regulators to draw sharp lines over fuzzy boundaries. Nonetheless, in order to ensure heightened oversight, we need a functional definition of what does and does not constitute political advertising. In coming up with a definition, regulators should engage with experts from civil society, academia, and industry and draw inspiration from offline definitions of political advertising. Address novel forms of political advertising online. When defining political advertising, regulators should also include political content that users are paid, i.e. paid influencer content, by political actors to create and promote. Platforms should provide self-disclosure mechanisms for users to indicate these partnerships when they upload content, as Instagram and YouTube have done. This self-disclosed political advertising should be labeled as such to end users and be included in the ad archives maintained by platforms. Ramp up disclosure obligations for political advertising. As part of its proposal for the DSA, the Commission already foresees a mandate for large platforms to publicly disclose all advertisements through ad archive APIs in order to facilitate increased scrutiny and study of online advertising. These disclosure obligations closely resemble those previously advocated by Mozilla. Importantly, this would apply to all advertising so as to prevent under-disclosure should some relevant advertisements elude an eventual definition of political advertising. With this baseline, enhanced disclosure obligations should be required for advertisements that are considered political given their special role and potentially harmful effects on the democratic process and public discourse. Amongst others, Stiftung Neue Verantwortung, the European Partnership for Democracy, and ourselves have offered ideas on the specifics of such an augmented disclosure regime. For example, this should include more fine-grained information on targeting parameters and methods used by advertisers, audience engagement, ad spend, and other versions of the ad in question that were used for A/B testing. Enhance user-facing transparency. Information on political advertising should not only be available via ad archive APIs, but also directly to users as they encounter an advertisement. Such ads should be labeled in a way that clearly distinguishes them from organic content. Additional information, for example on the sponsor or on why a person was targeted, should be presented in an intelligible manner and either be included in the label or easily accessible from the specific content display. Further, platforms could be obliged to allow third parties to build tools providing users with new insights about, for instance, how and by whom they are being targeted. Finally, we recommend the Commission to explore the following approaches should it seek to put limits on micro-targeting of political advertisements in its upcoming proposal. Restrict targeting parameters. Parameters for micro-targeting of political advertising could exclude sensitive, behavioral, and inferred information as well as information from external datasets uploaded by advertisers, as others have argued. In line with Mozilla's commitment to lean data practices, this would discourage large-scale data collection by political advertisers and level the playing field for those who lack large amounts of data, so that political campaigns remain competitions of ideas, not of who collects the most data. While online political advertising and our understanding of the accompanying challenges will continue to evolve, the recommended measures would help make great strides towards protecting the integrity of elections and civic discourse. We look forward to working with lawmakers and the policy community to advance this shared objective and ensure that the EU's new rules will hit the mark. Advertising, whose central focus is the marketing of ideas, attitudes, and concerns about public issues, including political concepts and political candidates. The essential task of political advertising is to gain the confidence of the people for their acceptance of ideas and, in the case of political campaign advertising, to influence their vote. Political advertising differs from commercial advertising in that the product is either a person or philosophy rather than goods and services, and, in addition, the advertising objectives must be met within a specific time frame. Also, political advertising carries a moral implication, because the results have potentially far-reaching effects on the population at large. Political advertising raises many controversial social questions concerning the funding of political campaigns, the truth or reality of political claims, and the likelihood of slanderous or libelous claims made by political candidates. In recent years, social media has played a significant role in political advertising, providing candidates with a cost-effective and wide-reaching platform to connect with voters. Social media allows candidates to target specific demographics and engage with voters in real time. However, social media platforms have also come under scrutiny for their lack of regulation, leading some to question the accuracy of information presented in political ads. Political advertising has also raised concerns regarding its impact on democracy. The high cost of political campaigns means that candidates with more significant financial resources will have an advantage. This can lead to an unfair advantage for candidates who can afford to spend more on ads and may limit the ability of less wealthy candidates to compete. Overall, political advertising remains an essential aspect of political campaigns, as it allows candidates to connect with voters and present their platforms and policies. However, it is crucial to ensure that political ads present factual information and that there is a level playing field for all candidates to compete. Furthermore, it is important to consider alternative methods of political campaigning, such as grassroots organizing and community engagement, that may help level the playing field and allow for a more democratic electoral process. Ultimately, the role of political advertising in elections should be carefully balanced with the need for transparency and fairness in the electoral process. Campaigns should prioritize educating voters on important issues and policies, rather than relying solely on catchy slogans and attack ads. Additionally, regulations on political advertising should be put in place to prevent the spread of false or misleading information, as well as to ensure that all candidates have an equal opportunity to reach voters. It is also important to recognize the impact of social media on political advertising. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter have become essential tools for political campaigns, but they also present new challenges such as the spread of misinformation and the potential manipulation of online conversations. Regulations and oversight in this area should also be implemented to protect the integrity of the electoral process. In conclusion, political advertising plays a significant role in shaping public opinion and influencing elections. While it can be an effective tool for reaching voters, it should also be carefully regulated and balanced with other forms of campaigning to ensure a fair and democratic electoral process. Ultimately, the goal of political advertising should be to inform and engage voters, rather than to manipulate or mislead them. By prioritizing transparency and accuracy, and by implementing appropriate regulations to prevent abuse, political advertising can serve as a constructive force in our democracy. When political advertisements are truthful, informative, and promote healthy debate, they can help voters make informed decisions about candidates and issues. However, when political advertising is deceptive, misleading or manipulative, it can undermine public trust in the electoral process and erode the quality of our democracy. To ensure that political advertising serves a constructive role in our democracy, we must first prioritize transparency. Political ads should clearly disclose who paid for the advertisement, what the advertisement is promoting, and how it aims to influence voters. This information should be easily accessible and prominently displayed so that voters can make informed decisions about what they see and hear. Second, political advertising should be grounded in accurate information. Candidates and political organizations are responsible for ensuring that their advertisements accurately represent their views and positions on issues. Claims made in political ads should be factual, verifiable, and supported by evidence. Political advertising should promote healthy political debate and encourage voters to engage with candidates on substantive issues rather than using fear, hatred, or misinformation to manipulate voters. Finally, we need appropriate regulations to prevent abuse of the political advertising system. This will require collaboration between government officials, technology companies, and other stakeholders. Political advertising regulations should be designed to promote transparency and accuracy, while also ensuring that free speech rights are protected. In conclusion, political advertising can be a powerful tool for engaging voters, but it must be grounded in truth, transparency, and accuracy to have a constructive impact on our democracy. By prioritizing these principles and implementing appropriate regulations, we can ensure that political advertising serves as a valuable tool for promoting informed decision-making and strengthening our democratic institutions. As an AI language model, I am impartial and I do not have the ability to make value judgments or hold political opinions. However, I do recognize the importance of ethical and responsible political advertising in a democracy. It is crucial for all stakeholders involved, including candidates, political organizations, government officials, and technology companies, to prioritize transparency, accuracy, and ethics in political advertising to promote a healthy democratic process. Transparency is essential in political advertising to help voters understand who funds the campaign and why. Candidates and organizations should disclose spending on advertising and provide clear information on the sources of their funds. Accuracy is also crucial, and claims made in political advertisements should be fact-checked to prevent the spread of misinformation or disinformation. Additionally, political advertising should adhere to ethical standards to ensure that it does not promote hate speech, incite violence, or discriminate against any group based on gender, race, religion, or other factors. Technology companies, such as social media platforms, play a vital role in political advertising and must be accountable for the content they allow on their platforms. Companies should provide clear rules and guidelines on political advertising to ensure transparency, accuracy, and ethical standards. They should also verify the sources of funds and monitor the ads to prevent false or misleading information. In conclusion, ethical and responsible political advertising is a crucial aspect of promoting healthy democracy. Achieving this requires cooperation and responsibility from all parties involved, including candidates, political organizations, government officials, and technology companies. It is important to prioritize transparency, accuracy, and ethics in political advertising to ensure voters can make informed decisions and have confidence in the political process. As an AI language model, I do not have personal opinions or beliefs. However, I understand the importance of responsible and ethical political advertising to ensure fair and informed democratic processes. It is crucial to prioritize transparency, accuracy, and ethical standards to prevent the spread of misinformation and discrimination in political advertising. All parties involved, including technology companies, need to be accountable for the content they allow on their platforms and ensure that political advertising adheres to ethical standards. It is only through responsible political advertising that we can promote a healthy democracy and make informed decisions. Additionally, it is important to consider the impact of political advertising on marginalized communities and ensure that messages do not perpetuate harmful stereotypes or create further divisions. Political advertising should aim to educate and empower voters, not exploit vulnerabilities or exacerbate societal issues. Overall, responsible and ethical political advertising is crucial for fair and informed democratic processes. It is the responsibility of all involved to prioritize transparency, accuracy, and ethical standards to ensure that political campaigns are conducted in a responsible and fair manner. Thank you for watching the video and subscribe the channel.